Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Locker Room Talk Uncut. Drew Garris and Chad Penrod in the locker room today discussing all the latest NFL free agency moves. The new league year kicked off yesterday. We're going to get into the winners, the losers, what the Bengals did, what the Browns did, and of course the biggest news of them all, Tom Brady is a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. Chad, lots to talk about, man. Let's get rolling. I guess I should kind of slow down, though. Tom Brady is not officially a Tampa Bay Buccaneer.
Not officially.
I guess he's getting a physical in New York today. There's the coronavirus going around, restricting a lot of visits, a lot of physical stuff like that. But Brady is expected to be a Tampa Bay Buccaneer.
He's going to be
he's
Tampa
going to
Bay
be a
Buccaneer.
What? They came out of nowhere for me, man. I mean, we can get into the fit and everything, here in a little bit, but they just were never on my list in all the episodes we've talked about.
Yeah, I don't know where it came out of. I don't know if it was Bruce Arians, the head coach there. I don't know if Tom kind of looked at it and seen Chris Godwin and Mike Evans and O.J. Howard and that team and said, that's where I want to go. Like we stated before, I thought San Francisco made a lot of sense. We thought Tennessee made a lot of sense, and San Francisco was no from the beginning. They're sticking with Jimmy G, and
Tennessee came out pretty quick and was like, "We're out on Brady. We're signing Tannehill
quick." Yeah, I mean, it just was. It sounds like it's been the Tampa Bay Bucks from the start. He's going down to Florida.
Just so it's just not a franchise that you think would get a guy like that. But looking at it, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. Rumors of maybe Todd Gurley going down there, who was just released today.
Just got released today, and that's been the target. They said even if there was a trade done, that they were going to target Todd Gurley. Todd's still going to get a lot of money, and I don't think Tampa's going to have to pay him near as obviously not that with the arthritis now. They're not going to have to pay him nearly as much as they did. And you want to talk about a team that's almost has nothing now, man. I mean, I wouldn't say nothing. I mean, so they have Aaron Donald, they still have Jared Goff, Robert Woods, and they're shopping Brandon Cooks, but man, they've really hurt themselves. The Rams have.
Aaron Donald's not happy. He just tweeted out the just the emoji of like covering the mouth with the symbols because he's cursing. He's pretty upset. Jalen Ramsey didn't seem too happy with some of the moves going on. So, the Rams, just to hit on them for a minute, they are fucked. They have no draft picks. They traded away for Jalen Ramsey and I think in a Marcus Peters trade, who's now in Baltimore.
Yeah. And I think I'm with you. I think that they're paying the price for that now. And now, all of a sudden everybody was looking at Sean McVay as a god, and now it's just like almost like after they never won a Super Bowl. Had they won a Super Bowl, I don't think it matters.
No, it's all worth it,
right?
Then.
But they go balls out. They did make the Super Bowl. Obviously, they got beat by
Tom Brady.
But nothing to show for any of that now.
It's just weird, man. They're where are they going to go? I don't know, man. That division, Seattle's always going to be right there. The Niners are going to be right there. The Cardinals. DeAndre Hopkins. Let's get into that a little bit.
Kyler going into his second year. Yeah, I mean, not only that, man, the Cardinals made some moves. They're obviously Larry Fitz is coming back. They put the transition tag or whatever it's called there on
Kenyon Drake.
Kenyon Drake, who was great for him.
Better than David Johnson, who they traded.
Like you said, I know we're skipping back and forth between teams here, but there's a lot of news to cover here. What the hell? I mean, I'm still at a loss of words.
Dude.
What the fuck is wrong with the Houston Texans? For DeAndre Hopkins, the best receiver in his prime, you get back a second-round pick, and you get back David Johnson, who's been injured a shit ton. Obviously, he just lost his job to Kenyon Drake there in Arizona. I just don't get it.
Yeah, and some breaking news here. We're going to hit on this in a minute. I'm just going to put it out because I just got the notification. Former Bills and Texans corner Kevin Johnson signed a 1-year, $3.5 million deal with the Cleveland Browns. Could be worth up to $6 million in incentives.
They were after a slot corner. I mean, obviously, we know that. We're going to touch on our, those two big teams who everybody want to hear about here shortly. But that's a spot. I was texting with you earlier, and
yep.
I told you, a corner was coming, another safety is going to be coming there, and and some other positions we'll hit on here in a little bit. But yeah, man, getting back to that division,
We're gonna jump around a lot, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, the Cardinals have done an excellent job, man, and they're a team that that is building, and they're building good.
And a guy that they signed that's kind of under the radar that I think will be really good. I was actually hoping the Bengals would be in on him, but Devon Kennard signed a 3-year, $20 million contract with the Cardinals as well. Includes $12.25 million guaranteed. Good coverage linebacker. I think that he'll be an impact down there. They're going to chase Russell Wilson around. You got to have an athletic, quick linebacker. Jordan Phillips, good rotation guy on the defensive tackle spot, but all these moves are going to be overshadowed by the fact that they just stole DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, for David Johnson, who's been hurt and not that good and overpaid in a second rounder, and these stories coming out that Bill O'Brien didn't like that DeAndre Hopkins had like the mothers of his children around a lot and started comparing him to Aaron Hernandez and all these stories. It's not a good look.
Yeah, but I wonder how true that is, with Michael Irvin, because I don't know. It seemed like they were shopping him towards the end of last year as well.
Yeah, and it's similar to – it kind of reminds me of the Deshaun Jackson thing when Chip Kelly came in and took over in Philadelphia, and he kind of purged that roster too. But they were like, okay, well, Deshaun Jackson has gang ties and this and that, and nothing ever really came of that.
Yeah.
I mean – I don't know what he means by having the mothers of his children around too much. I don't know if that means at the facility.
Yeah, I didn't get
life.
that. Yeah, I didn't get that neither. But man, just to kind of touch on, I mean, obviously Seattle's going to be there. The 49ers are going to be there. Now the Cardinals, man, and it looks like the team taking a step back is the Rams.
The Rams might come in last.
Yeah, I mean, I still think the 49ers, or Seahawks win that division, but you got to love. The Arizona Cardinals going out there and getting D-Hop for Kyler,
for nothing, but for Kyler. But I just can't. I mean, Odell Beckham, the Browns gave 2 first rounders for him, or 1 and a pick swap, or something of the sort.
One a later pick and a player.
So and I mean, I was actually kind of a big trade with Zeitler and Peppers and all that, but I mean, I thought he would get as much, if not more, than what Beckham got, because it came out that day. You were the first to tell me, you're like, Hopkins is about to get traded. I'm like, no, what?
Yeah, you guys were like, real. No way, yeah. You just kept hearing it, Mal. Kind of staying on the Texans here. If I'm Deshaun Watson, I want out.
Yeah,
I know I'm in a rookie deal, but you just got rid of DeAndre Hopkins, like. What won't you go to? But if I'm him, there's no way I'm re-signing in Houston. There's absolutely no way.
No, you don't just. They're like, oh well, Will Fuller. They deem him as a number one. Well, he can't stay on the field.
He played like 4 games last year.
You can't go get Randall Cobb and think that's going to make it okay.
No, come on, man.
Man, yeah. If I'm Deshaun, I'm going to start weighing my options. There's all this player empowerment going on. I'd throw my cards on the table. I know it's a bad look, but I mean, what he did last year and. Just, with DeAndre Hopkins as his security blanket,
right.
the 3rd and 7 guy, the guy that you can just put it up for and he's going to go get it. I just don't understand why you would do that to your young franchise quarterback that, a lot of people say he needs a lot of help. They went out and they traded for Laramie Tunsil. They gave up the first-round pick for him. So they were putting it all in place, and I guess they were saying that, he's wanting a contract in the $18 million range. His deal's coming up, and I don't get it, man. You got to pay that guy. There's receivers like that aren't there, and he's the whole troublemaker thing that's been putting out there was a shock to me because he doesn't talk trash. He's not ever in any trouble.
To work, man.
So that's weird. But the Cardinals, man, they're going to be fun to watch, and Bill O'Brien better hope something pays off with this here quickly, or he may be out of a job because he's been on the chopping block there a couple of times.
Kind of want to transition over here to the AFC East a little bit on a team you touched on, man, the Buffalo Bills.
Man.
And just sticking to, a receiver, they end up getting Stephon Diggs from the Vikings, who the Vikings getting depleted, and we'll touch on that here in a little bit. But but they get Stephon Diggs, and word is that they're in talks too with Melvin Gordon.
Yeah.
Obviously the Patriots, lose Tom Brady, and it looks like they almost look like they're hitting a rebuild. I don't know what's going on there yet. I mean, I know, you got to trust Belichick, and he likes to hit on these second and third tier players. You know, so I don't know exactly what his plan is there. You know, but the Bills, man, the Jets haven't done anything. Miami, I love what Miami has done, but Miami only won a few games last year. You don't know where they're sitting at with their quarterback situation. And it looks like the AFC East here, the Bills are just going to run away with it this year. It looks like.
Yeah, and you know the Stephon Diggs is obviously the splash, but another move that's not really getting a lot of hype that I think is great is getting Mario Addison, edge rusher.
Yeah,
I
they
think
did lose Shaq Lawson.
Yeah, good replacement for him.
You know, but you know the Bills are right there, man. They got a great coaching staff there with Brian Daboll and I forget the head coach's name. Getting back to me on that. There,
McDermott, right?
Yeah, McDermott. That's right, Sean McDermott. And they're just coached well, and they've only added pieces to the playoff run that they made last year.
And I like Josh Allen. He made some really stupid, idiotic plays in that playoff game, but you kind of chalk that up to his first
time. Yeah, we'll see what the kid's got.
I like him though, and Josh Norman's there as well. I don't know, I kind of give guys a pass when they go to Washington and it doesn't work out because it seems like nothing works out there. So it'll be interesting to see how Josh Norman plays out there, but. I mean, way too early picks to win that division. It's got to be the Bills.
Yeah, I mean, they're loading up, man. And like I said, you just see, the Pats are kind of sitting on their hands right now. You have to wonder what they're going to do at the quarterback position. Are they going to trade for Andy Dalton?
Go ahead.
Obviously, Bengals fans would love that. But we'll touch on the Bengals here in a little bit. But, the word is, now that Gurley's released, they couldn't find a trade partner, and he was due that 10.5, so the Rams released him. Another guy getting released, from the sounds of it, is going to be quarterback Cam Newton.
Yeah.
And you have to wonder, will Cam Newton go play with Belichick? I mean, that might save the day. I mean, maybe. I mean, I don't think that's his type of quarterback, but Cam is big, strong. He does things that other quarterbacks can't do. And I mean, I think I would be more comfortable with a Cam Newton over Stidham.
Yeah, I would.
Stidham, by the way, is their now starter quarterback.
Their 4th round pick from last year. I could see Newton working there systematically. I don't know if his personality works with Bill.
Yeah, he's kind of cocky.
Cocky, but also in press conferences, if they lose, he's real mopey and kind of, and it takes me back to a couple years ago when people were mad that he was celebrating doing a Superman thing, and he's like, "Well, if you don't want to stop, you don't want me to do it, stop me from getting in." And then he started getting his shit rocked the next year, and he's like, "Well, this isn't fun anymore. I need to talk to Roger Goodell." So he's very up and down. I don't know how that would mesh with Belichick. I think Belichick would probably be fine with it because it's Bill's way or the highway. Yeah. But I don't know how Cam would work with Belichick on that. That seems a little iffy to me.
That's one. I mean, we'll see. Also, a quarterback that just got released today is Joe Flacco. He kind of seems like your Brady type. He's kind of sits in the pocket. I mean, I'm not fucking comparing Joe Flacco to Tom Brady, but I'm just saying, the way that they quarterback, Joe ain't running anywhere.
Right.
But you just wonder where the Patriots go from here. Are they finally going to hit the rebound? It would not surprise me at all if somehow they fucking tank and end up with Trevor Lawrence. I mean, that wouldn't shock me either.
I just don't. It's hard at this point in his career to get Bill in on a tank. I feel like.
No, I agree, and the defense is still there. That you still have a solid defense. You are trading a lot of those pieces.
Kyle Van Noy's gone. Deron Harmon's gone
to the Detroit Patriots.
Pretty much
is where those guys are going. But and kind of want to swing things over that way. I don't get that from Detroit. I don't know if there's any Lions fans that listen to it. But obviously you guys know why we're calling you the Detroit Patriots. You guys are taking all of the ex-Patriots. I always said there's 3 pieces to the Patriots, and to the Patriots dynasty. That's Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, and the rest. And you only got one of them, and that's the rest. And the other 2 are way bigger pieces.
Yeah, absolutely. Matt Patricia.
I'm not trying to shit on Detroit. You guys have been through some shit, just like Browns and Bengals fans, but. I don't like that. I don't like that. That's the approach that Patricia has taken is to go get all of the ex-Patriots when there's better players out there.
Just in the last couple of days, Jamie Collins, former Patriot, Deron Harmon, former Patriot, Danny Shelton, former Patriot.
Yeah, I mean it just adds up. It just keeps going, and they already had players there. Kind of want to keep it there. The Packers, they did get Christian Kirksey, who, if he's healthy, Christian Kirksey is a great a linebacker. That's just the thing there. I think that's all Green Bay's done. If I'm not mistaken, I think Christian Kirksey's pretty much
the biggest.
It might have been up one or two other small ones there, but I think the Packers are just. I think they're at the point to where they like what they have, and they're just going to build through the draft and get those small salaries on them there.
Pettin did a good job with that defense last year.
Oh,
too.
Mike Pettin can coach
your
defense,
former head
man.
coach.
Oh yeah, Pettin was a good coach actually.
Yeah, Kirksey's a guy that he's got to stay on the field, but when he does, he's good. Another guy that I wanted the Bengals to take a look at, but obviously they didn't. But he actually signed with Green Bay before like the legal tampering even started because he was already released.
Yeah.
So that's one that I like. But yeah, nothing else big there. But in that division, there is a quarterback competition in Chicago.
Oh, you're right.
Big Dick Nick, as they call him. Apparently, he had like the biggest penis.
When after they came out at the end of last season and said Mitch Trubisky was the guy,
Yeah, they said they were riding with Mitch Trubisky, and they were linked to Dalton, and I was actually sad to see the Foles trade go down because I thought maybe the Bengals could have some leverage pitting the Bears against the Patriots. But, I mean, it makes sense. Matt Nagy's worked with them before. I think there's a couple other assistant coaches that were there with the Philly tree that worked with him. So he's going to go in there, push Mitch Trubisky in it. I've never been a big Nick Foles fan. I know he won a Super Bowl.
And he was the Super Bowl MVP.
But he's just never been good as a starter.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you guys are, and I was the one who had Foles back there, but he didn't look very good last year in Jacksonville. I mean, so maybe it is a more system thing. I'm not sure. I just
But that's a fit because he runs a lot of RPO. And I think the person that ran the most RPO plays last year besides Flacco was Mitch Trubisky or something to that effect. They're close in the RPOs run. So that is in the system there. I'm not going to go out on a limb yet and say that I think he'll beat Trubisky for the job, but he's going to be
won't be hard.
He's going to be very good competition. It's going to be interesting because they were saying last year that the Bears were like turning off ESPN in the facility, and they didn't want Mitch Trubisky to see all the stuff that's getting said about him. So it's like now you got to nut up or shut up.
Yeah,
you got competition. You got Super Bowl MVP competition in here. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see if that rises him up or if he breaks.
They say Nagy's got a good offense. Maybe Trubisky just can't run it. You just never know the system fit there. And obviously Nagy came from Philly. Yeah. That's where Foles was. So, and Foles was able to run his offense. That was the year they won the Super Bowl. So,
yeah, could link up. It's a better fit than Dalton was.
Oh, yeah. It made way more sense. The last team in that division there, the Minnesota Vikings, we touched on them a little bit.
Cleaning house.
I don't get, they're losing everyone.
All their corners are in Cincinnati.
Well, yeah, damn near all of them. They're just getting depleted. I don't know if that's money, and they give more money to Kirk Cousins.
Yeah,
and they lose Diggs, so now you got Adam Thielen. Obviously, you got Dalvin Cook. I just don't. I don't know. I don't know why they haven't re-signed. Maybe they're at that point to where like we can't win with these guys.
Yeah, maybe. But Kirk Cousins. I mean, it's like you ever seen a room where it's like it's real ugly, but you don't want to paint it, so you just put up wallpaper. Like Kirk Cousins is Andy Dalton with wallpaper. He's just a shined up Andy Dalton. He's not good. He can't.
I know you've made that comparison before, and I'm not going to argue with it too much. But I think he's better than Dalton. I think he can make the throws. He's definitely one of the top 15 quarterbacks in the league. I just and they won a playoff last year. But they do lose Stefanski. But Kubiak steps in, who runs the same exact offense.
Yeah.
I just think I think Cousins is the quarterback for the job there. I don't think he's great by any means, but I think he's good enough.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if they're going to retool things, they're going to lock him down for a couple more years before they do it. They still got Thielen there, still got Dalvin Cook, but the defense took a hit, so we'll see how that kind of all plays out. Moving on here a little bit to a big move that I liked was the DeForest Buckner to the Colts. And these are trades, not necessarily free agency, but they're all moves.
There's a lot of them this year, man. It was an exciting couple days.
And it's there's still some good guys out there. But DeForest Buckner from the Niners, they gave up their first rounder this year, and then they gave him a huge extension, worth $21 million a year. It'll be interesting how one of the biggest things that the Niners defense did last year was have that rotation of guys that could get after the quarterback and kind of make up for some of the deficiencies in their secondary. Richard Sherman not looking that great, stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting to see how they bounce back. But the Colts go out and make that monster trade, and then Phillip Rivers,
yeah, I mean,
the new quarterback of the Colts.
We're going to see what old Phillip has left in the tank. It was a 1 year, $25 million deal.
That made sense from the start.
Yeah, you kind of had to figure that's kind of where he was heading. I mean, there's a defensive there. There's now an offensive line. He's got T.Y. Hilton,
Marlon Mack back there.
Marlon Mack. I think they need another receiver, to put along with Ty there,
yeah.
And then just keep working on the defense because the offensive line's there. But yeah, I mean, you got to think they're going to make some noise because they seem to be an edge rusher and a quarterback away. Now Phillip didn't have a great year last year. He threw a lot of interceptions. But I think that time there in San Diego / LA it was stale. Yeah, it was stale. It was time to move on, and and I think that's what teams got to be willing to do. When the relationship gets stale, you got to move on, and when players are getting old and getting out of their prime or whatever, you got to cut them away, and that's just how a lot of good organizations are ran. And I think, but on the other side, I think Phillip felt the same way.
It was mutual.
Getting away from the Chargers. I mean, God, that guy ain't never had a fan base. He's gonna he's gonna go to Indy with a real good fan base there.
He's like, shit, they cheer for you guys here,
right? So but I love that. I guess the 49ers came down between DeForest Buckner and Eric Armstead, and they went with which Armstead led that team in sacks actually, which I thought was a crazy stat. With Bosa and that whole line there. So, yeah, I like I said, I like that. And then the Titans, now the question's answered. They said, hey, we're going with Tannehill. He wrote it. We wrote him all the way to an AFC Championship. They put the franchise tag on Derrick Henry. One of the moves that I thought was just dumb on their part. I get it from a money standpoint because he was owed a lot of money, but they trade Jarrell Casey in a middle. Just middle of his prime. I mean, I think he's more on the back end, but more towards the middle of his prime, man. The defensive tackle for a 7th round pick.
What?
To the Denver Broncos. Apparently, I didn't look at the numbers there, but apparently Jarrell Casey was owed a lot of money, and they got a 7th for him. But I just don't get it, man. Jarrell Casey was just the middle of that defense. So, but we'll see what they do. It sounds like they want to re-sign Logan Ryan and make some other moves too. More towards the second and third tier of free agency, and then hit it with the draft. So we'll see what they're doing from there.
How about Tannehill though, man? Benched in Miami, traded to the Titans, backing up Mariota.
System fit, man.
And now he's the proud new owner of a 4-year, $118 million contract.
And this man was a receiver.
$62 million fully guaranteed. My God.
Yeah, and you got to think that the Titans are gearing up to make another run there. I mean, because they've only gotten better, where the Texans have obviously gotten worse. The Colts have done their thing there.
I think they'll fight it out.
Yeah. Jacksonville's going to go with Gardner Minshew.
I love that. I fucking love it. I don't know too much about how great he is as a quarterback. I know he's just a fucking cool ass personality. I think he's fucking awesome.
And Jacksonville also gets Joe Schobert, the linebacker for the Browns. He ended up kind of finding his money. I thought he did get over $10 million. The Browns weren't willing to pay for it. Obviously, the Bengals weren't willing to pay for it. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. We're going to save that.
Right.
But
fuck.
But that's kind of where free agency. I think that's been most of the big moves here. What am I forgetting? Oh, Jenkins. Released by the Eagles.
Going back to New Orleans.
Going back to New Orleans. And that's going to be fun. We get Breeze versus Brady twice a year.
Yeah.
And the NFL, what is it? CBA, the CBA pass, so we get another week. of real football. We don't consider preseason real football unless it's like week 3.
We cut a week of preseason.
That's
though.
right.
I like that.
That's right. So maybe now week 2 we're going to get to see the starters more, and we add another playoff team. So the only way you get a bye now in the NFL is to be the first seed. The 2 seeds going to have to play now.
Come on with it.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. More football. Obviously, teams that I see a lot of fans. It's like they're almost talking from the higher player perspective, but who really doesn't want more football?
Oh,
like if your team, obviously, if you're like, I don't know, a Chiefs fan or something, you're like, we're kind of built, but that isn't going to last forever,
right?
You always want more football, man. It's especially football, and the UFC has saved the day with this virus going around, man.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, the UFC put the fighters in the cages with no fans around, and they fought. And then the NFL said, we're not stopping free agency. It doesn't sound like they're going to stop the draft. And they're moving forward. They're giving people something else to talk about, which I respect a shit ton.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of these contracts you'll see will have language in them that guaranteed money and signing bonus money is forfeitable if they don't pass a physical, because they can't fly players into their facility and have their team doctors look at it. They can't send their team doctors to the player to evaluate them. So the only thing that they can do is agree to a doctor in that player's hometown area, wherever he is, to do it. And I've heard a lot of teams don't like that. They want their own guys in there to do it.
Own guys.
So I think that's going to slow down the market for like a Cam Newton, maybe a Todd Gurley, and a guy that we haven't brought up yet that has had really no action is Jadeveon Clowney.
Yeah, well, they said that, he was wanting $20+ million a year. And he's, from what it sounds like, the market's not there for him.
If you look at the numbers, strictly the numbers, he doesn't have a lot of sacks, a lot of tackles, a lot of passes batted down. But he's an impact guy. He's that guy that opens it up for other people. He's kind of and people were telling me the Bengals should take Chase Young because he can, he'll take away a lot of attention and he'll open it up for other guys. It's kind of what Clowney does. But with him, there's medical issues. He had some surgeries that I think people want to look into. I guess some work ethic issues that kind of followed him all the way back to South Carolina. And I don't know, man. He'll get picked up. I think he may more realistically land back in Seattle, and it'll just be a kind of a deal that will pay off for the Seahawks more so than anything. So looking at him, he's that's a piece that'll fall eventually. I personally think it's back in Seattle. But other than that, the big names are really all kind of spoken for. Lots of movement. Greg Olsen kind of going out to the Seahawks. I don't know how much he has left in the tank, but I'm telling you one thing, the Cedric Ogbuehi signing for the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Seahawks. He went from the Jaguars to the Seahawks. That's going to change the game. Cedric the Entertainer, he sucks. That's a joke. And another weird one, like why is Jason Witten going to go play for the Raiders? Like, hang it up, dude.
Who doesn't want to play in Las Vegas? I mean,
just go to Las Vegas, dude. Like,
yeah, but
he should be remembered a Cowboy. He came back to the Cowboys because he was so fucking bad at announcing.
He was awful.
I don't know. That's weird to me. Going out there, it's one of the smaller moves, but it just doesn't.
Well,
really...
let's give the people what they want. They want to hear what our takes are on our teams. The Browns will both take it. The Bengals will both give takes. And we'll just start there. And before we even get into it, let us know. Hey, what did your team do in free agency? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did they fail? Did they pass? What do you guys think? This free agency just opened yesterday. Obviously, a lot of the big names are taken. Now you are getting towards those tier 2, tier 3 players. So Drew, you want me to start? I'll start out with this.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Let's talk about it. What have your Cleveland Browns done, and how do you feel about it?
Well, obviously the Browns had one of the very first signings right off rip. They made tight end Austin Hooper the highest paid tight end in the league. And I'm not going to sit here and act like Hooper is the best tight end in the league. He's not. Travis Kelce, but he is a George Kittle.
Well, he's up there.
Yeah, he's up there. He's a top 4, top 5 tight end in the league. And if there's one thing anybody knows about me when I get to talking about tight ends, if you go back and listen to the past episodes, you got to cherish those spots because there's not many really good tight ends. And Austin Hooper is one of those really good tight ends. Did I think it was going to be Austin Hooper when we have Njoku on the roster? I didn't. I didn't think it. I was thinking, Njoku's going to do everything. But when we signed Austin Hooper, you kind of go back and you go and you look at that the Stefanski ran offense, which he got from Gary Kubiak. He ran more 12 personnel than anybody last year, which means a lot of double tight ends, heavy formations, and if we've talked about this, that's what Baker thrived in.
Yeah, he needs that.
Yeah, his rookie season there was a lot of heavy formations, and now you're going to have Austin Hooper, and Njoku's not going anywhere. You're going to have a lot of Odell. You're going to have a lot of Jarvis,
and
Hooper,
Nick Chubb
and Njoku out as your receivers, and then as your receiving core, blocking, whatever, and then you're going to have Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt.
Well, Chubb's going to set it all up because you can bet
Look at Dalvin Cook last year.
You can bet your ass he's going to run the ball more next year than he did under Freddie Kitchens last year.
Oh God, man! Just go look at Dalvin Cook last season.
Yep.
And that's the way it should go. And then obviously anybody that listened to the last episode or the last two episodes, my number one target was Jack Conklin.
God damn it! I wanted him,
and the Browns went out and got him. And it wasn't a huge. I think it was like 3 or 4 years. But man, do you want to talk about being able to protect Baker? That's where it started. Getting the best linemen in free agency and protecting Baker Mayfield. And man, that right there just tickles my pickle.
It's a smart deal by Conklin though, because he
gets out when he's 28.
Yeah, he's getting $30 million guaranteed, but he's still going to be able to cash in at a young age if he goes out and
he'll get another. It could be with the Browns. It could be with someone else. But the Browns forked the money out and they got him.
They have to, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but they're almost in the Rams situation where it's like, okay, we got a rookie quarterback window. You got Myles Garrett on a rookie deal still because he's going to demand a lot of money.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, let's go all in, and that was their number one position of need going into this was a left tackle to protect Baker's blind
and
side.
he actually Conklin's never played left tackle. Another big one was the right tackle for the Browns where Chris Hubbard is. He's gonna
he's gonna play on the right.
Conklin's gonna come in and play right tackle.
Oh, okay.
Maybe they'll try him out at left tackle, but he's never played left tackle in his NFL career. But he's just huge protection, and we've talked about this. Maybe it's a Jason Peters. Obviously, the Browns are always connected with Trent Williams. Or with the 10th pick, are we going to take a left tackle? And then you got a damn good line there. Obviously, and then third was one that I actually, you can verify this. I called this a month or two ago. I said when we hired Stefanski that Case Keenum was going to be our backup quarterback.
Yeah,
and it makes so much sense. Case Keenum he's just a great guy. He's a great football player. He's a backup. But if anything were to happen to any starting quarterback in the league, you always want that backup quarterback.
Yeah, and he knows that system.
He knows
already.
he
can help teach it to Baker.
He's the one that threw the ball to Stephon Diggs and Stefanski.
Minneapolis Miracle.
The Minneapolis Miracle. So it just made a lot of sense. He was really good under Keenum. Obviously, the Browns lost Kirksey, lost Schobert, but then they go out and sign former Packers linebacker B.J. Goodson. Honestly, I didn't know a lot about the guy. I looked at him. He started a lot of games last year. But the number one thing about him was how fast he was. We look at a lot of Pro Football Focus. We like to watch their grades. He actually graded out better than Joe Schobert. So that was nice, but I'm not going to sit here and hype it up and like he did this, he did that. So, that is what it is there. And then another pickup that I loved was Carl Joseph. 1 year, prove it. He bought out.
A good deal.
Yeah, he bought out with the Oakland Raiders last year before he got hurt, and then so he's kind of in a 1 year, prove it. What can you do? Can you make yourself some money? Type deal. And before we even get to that corner, I have to, I want to research that a little bit. But the last one here, which you're going to have some say on, the Browns signed former Bengals defensive tackle Andrew Billings. And I said this before through the group chat there. This didn't wow me. I'm not going to say just act like he's an ex-Bengal that he wowed me. I do like him as a rotation guy.
Yeah.
I like him as he's probably not going to start. You still got Sheldon Richardson there, and you got Larry Ogunjobi. But if you look what the good teams on defense do, they rotate that defensive line. And the one thing that Billings does do well is where the Browns have had a hole for years. He's a run stopper. He's not going to get after the quarterback too much, but he's a 300-pound plus man. And he's gonna fill holes, and that's what we need him for.
And I remember he fell to the Bengals in the 4th round, and you're like, "Wow, that's a steal."
I thought it was a steal.
He never really reached the potential that I thought he would, but
he was projected to be a first
rounder, yeah.
And the Bengals got him like the 2nd, right?
I think they got him like the 4th. I'd have to look it up, but he fell.
Yeah, he fell. I remember he was projected to go in the 1st.
I think one of my favorite things about Andrew Billings was, how the end zone celebrations are big with a turnover. Now the whole defense runs to the end zone. He's always the last one there because he's the biggest guy. He's always the guy taking the picture. I
can't believe how fast he is, though.
For a guy his size, he's big.
He's fast.
But
he is fast.
But he'll be a good rotation guy, good against the run. He was kind of buried on the depth chart because Ryan Glasgow from Michigan came in and was getting a lot of good run there at the other nose tackle spot. And then he got hurt, so Billings was kind of pushed into it more. And he played pretty good last year.
Yeah, I think last year was his best season.
Yeah, absolutely. And he got on the field more, so it could be good for him.
We'll see. That's going to wow you. Like I said, it didn't wow me, but
$3.5 million. Yeah, low risk.
Why not? 1 year, prove it. Just like Carl Joseph, prove it.
I mean, a lot of people were saying, and I kind of agree with it, that DJ Reader is what we've wanted Andrew Billings to be. And we'll get into that more here in a minute. And Andy Janovich actually is a quiet, good one. Good one for that run game.
For the last 2 years, he's been the 2nd most efficient fullback. And I know everybody don't use a fullback a lot, use tight ends.
Stefanski's going to.
Stefanski uses fucking fullbacks, man. And I think that he's jumping up and down with that pick because one of the very first things a Browns reporter and Browns fan want to know about Stefanski are you bringing a fullback, and he said, "Oh hell yeah!"
For sure.
He lives by them fullbacks, man, and it makes sense to have that extra guy blocking in front of the running back, and I just can't say it enough. Go back and watch Dalvin Cook and what he was able to do for him and with a fullback. But yeah, so I like all the moves the Browns have made, but what I'm not going to do is sit up here and gloat like I did last year, when they pull off Odell and all these exciting looking trades. Because hey, last year we were the paper champions and we won 6 games.
Well, that's my thing. I'm getting ready to say I like all the moves pretty well. A lot of things line up to where I think that Baker could have a big bounce back year and they can maybe reach that potential.
It's all on Baker now. Offensively.
Well, there was some terrible coaching last year, too.
It was awful.
It goes on both. But I've said this for quite a few years now, and I'm just like, okay, the Browns had a good offseason, but I'm kind of in the same boat as you. You got to show me now.
Right.
I don't want them to be all that good. They're in my division. They look like they have everything they need to be very good, but I'm just not going to buy it anymore. I bought it last year. I was like, oh, shit.
It's only on paper. On paper, they look great, and like you just hit on. Now it's you got to go out and you got to show it. You're good on paper. What can you do? Can it be coached right? Are the players going to put forth the effort? And that's where and I'm with you. That's where I'm at now. I'm not going to get too overly excited about being the best on paper because that happened last year. Like I said, we won 6 games, missed the playoffs, and it was all crazy.
They're just like a year behind because they hired the guy they should have hired this time last year.
Right.
Like he was in the building. He interviewed.
They're lucky enough. Hopefully, it's lucky enough they're able to get him again. So.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you take get the guy you should have got the last year, but you give him a 10th overall pick now. So
but I mean that last thing on there, dude. I mean that the offensively, this is all on Baker. Either you're going to have a huge year because they've literally done everything.
Oh
for
yeah,
you're going to get a left tackle. I don't know if it's going to be Peters, Williams, if they're going to draft one. I don't know.
Either way,
are they going to move Conklin over? I don't know. I don't know yet. But that is the only missing piece on the offense. So now, Baker, it is on you. Show me something. Are you going to be Baker rookie year, Baker second year, good, bad? I mean, that's just where it is. And I kind of want to. I'll stop talking about the Browns here for a minute, and I know it's bugging at you. So, Drew, let's hear it. Your Bengals. What do you think?
I was very frustrated as it all first started to see these linebackers go.
You weren't seeing names.
I mainly just the fact that like they missed out on Schobert. They were in on Schobert, I found out, but they just didn't want to meet the money that Jacksonville was offering, and I don't like that.
That's what I was going to ask you.
You have to overpay.
Man. Like, if you're going to overpay for Trey Waynes, and you can touch on that later, I'm just saying, wouldn't you rather have a guy like Joe Schobert?
Yes.
Like, overpay for Schobert than overpay for Waynes.
And I've said this to you personally. I don't know if I've said it on here or not, but the Bengals are in a position that the Browns were a couple years ago. You have to overpay to get guys to come there. You have to.
You can't go to the free agency market and be like, this is where we think it's at. No, you are 32nd of 32 teams.
Yeah.
You have the first overall pick. You have to overpay. You have to. There's nothing on that roster right now that's like, ooh, I want to go there and play with that guy. Right. I mean, Mixon or whatever, he tries. You got to give it to Mixon. He's trying to recruit players and stuff, but he's not enough.
Yeah, Taylor's a good recruiter. It looks like Taylor's a good guy.
But
that
with
keeps
the
people
virus,
in.
he can't get people in front of him.
Not only that, I'm saying that's all well and good. He kept the guys bought in through a shitty year. That's great. But at the end of the day, these guys aren't going to take. I mean, what's the difference in going to a Cincinnati or a Jacksonville right now? Honestly.
Yeah, I mean,
the money's better in Jacksonville. I'm going to Jacksonville.
And Jacksonville's in Florida, where the weather's better. I mean,
no state tax.
Right. I mean,
shit like that.
I mean, it's just those things, right?
So, you got the money, and I don't know. And this is kind of a weird year because a lot of this stuff's not official, but so it's you can't say, well, they didn't have the cap space because they haven't dumped Dalton or Kirkpatrick's money yet. Well, it doesn't matter because none of these deals are on the books yet. They're all on principle.
Are they even going to be able to get rid of Dalton, or are they just going to be like, fuck, and release him?
Yeah, I mean, they'll be able to get rid of his money one way or the other.
The money will go.
But I don't know, man. You overpay for Trey Waynes.
So go down the list. Start with DJ Reader. What do you think?
I like the DJ Reader signing. He's very young. He's only 25. Had a hell of a career so far in Houston. I was shocked by that. Just the fact that the Bengals made somebody the highest paid anything in free agency.
Yeah, well, they overpaid there. But like you said, why not for Schobert?
You have to.
Listen, I'm going to be dead honest with you on this show. I love the DJ Reader signing because, listen, the Bengals got fucking gashed against the run.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Geno's getting older. This is why I just keep barking at the Bengals. It's like Geno should have been gone. I understand he was a Pro Bowler,
right.
But that whole shit's weird. But now you have his replacement. You have a guy you do. I mean, you do run a 4-3, so you're gonna get Geno and you're gonna get DJ on the field. And like I said, DJ was the best defensive tackle on the market. It didn't seem like that was the position that the Bengals needed, but
I was kind of shocked.
But no, they needed that. You got to be able to stop the run up the middle.
And Geno's not all that great against the run. He's a smaller guy. He's shorter.
And he also gets after the pass, the quarterback.
That's what I'm looking at. Okay, put Reader out there. He's going to open up Geno a little bit more because Geno was getting some double teams.
Yep.
And, you've got kind of a good rotation here. Sam Hubbard's been good. Geno's been, Dunlap, Lawson. Hopefully, please God, he sees the field more this year. Yeah. So they've got a good thing going there. I do like the fact that it'll open up Geno more. And in a division where you got the Steelers, who are always going to run the ball, the Browns, who I think are going to have a newfound commitment to run the ball, and obviously Baltimore. Getting a guy like that, putting him in there is nice. And then Trey Waynes, I'm going to kind of get into that.
Go ahead. He's the next guy signed, Trey Waynes.
He's replacing Dre Kirkpatrick.
You would think.
I saw some stuff where it's like, no, he's not leaving. But then when they signed Mackenzie Alexander today, that signals the end for Dre Kirkpatrick. And Waynes is better than Kirkpatrick at run support, which is good. He's a better tackler, and he doesn't draw as many penalties as Kirkpatrick. But in coverage,
he's worse.
I think I don't know. I haven't seen a firm number, but
he's Goodberry, the guy I was arguing with, actually tweeted out, and he's actually worse in coverage.
So I get. I mean, William Jackson.
I just don't. I don't get it.
I don't.
Why are you paying him? I don't understand why why he's now the highest paid corner, or was at the time.
I think. The logic that I find in it is he's better against the run. You got Lamar in your division. I mean, you don't want your corner to be your primary run stopper, but he's the fifth best corner against the run, so that's good.
Yeah, but he's a corner.
I think maybe it's a situation where it was stale with Kirkpatrick, and I don't think he wants to go. He doesn't seem to. He actually follows me on Instagram, and I see a lot of his stuff. He'll reply every now and then. He seemed pretty happy, but it's got to be. I mean, because you look at the corner room now, you got William Jackson, obviously. Kirkpatrick's there. Mackenzie Alexander's there. DJ Reader's there. They signed McTyer today, which I don't understand why. And they still have Darius Phillips, who played
Darius Phillips.
Very good last year before he got hurt.
Good. He'll be good. That's probably Denard's replacement, if I had to guess.
Well, I think that it's going to be kind of a split because that's where Mackenzie Alexander played too. And I was looking at his heat charts. Somebody put Ben Baby. It's a cool name. He's a Bengals reporter. Tweeted he's very similar to Denard, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I
really like Denard. I like William Jackson third, and I like Darqueze Denard. But that's my kind of thing with you. I like the Mackenzie Alexander pickup.
Right.
They got him for cheap. What was it, a year, 2 years?
1 year, $4 million.
Yeah, it's a cheap deal. But making Trey Waynes the highest paid cornerback is just I don't like it. Just because if you look at the numbers and you look at side by side with Dre Kirkpatrick, you're going to give him way more money, and it just I don't know. That one doesn't make sense with me. I love DJ Reader signing. I love Mackenzie Alexander. I do not like the Trey Waynes signing. I don't like it.
Yeah, I did at first, I think, until I saw the money and. He got less than like a.
You're going to pay that much money, dude. You should have been all in on Byron Jones.
That's what I was thinking. He got less than Byron Jones, but I mean, if you're going to go spend on a corner, go get that one.
Go get one of the highest ones.
I've seen some tape of Trey Waynes. Obviously, I've looked at him more since he became a Bengal. There's some good stuff there. There's some flashes
There's
there.
a lot of talk that the double moves gets him.
Yeah, and
a lot of the double moves he's burnt toast.
Hopefully, they'll keep Jesse Bates over the top to help with that. I don't know. I just don't see the advantage of all that much.
Yeah, I don't either. And
over just keeping Kirkpatrick.
Let me just say this, though. We like to be real in the locker room. I love the fact that they came out and signed some free agents.
$95 million in a day.
I like it. It's some of the signings, I'm scratching my head. It was like, all right, we need a big name. We need to sign them.
Right,
it's
he's not even that big of a name.
And can you imagine, can you just imagine right now, say, they have DJ Reader and fucking Joe Schobert right there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, dude, you're jumping through hula hoops for that shit.
And Byron Jones, if you're gonna pay.
Right. I mean, I think it was Schobert.
Probably one or the other. Yeah.
But I just think that was the better move, and now you're still no moves at linebacker. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of very good players out there that we've talked about, but man, we're running thin on linebackers already.
I think that. My thought on this through prospects I've kind of been watching, there are a lot of pretty good athletic linebackers that I think will be available around the third round. They've got to look at them, but you've put yourself in a position where either you do that and you hope that they're good and you hit on them and they contribute right away,
immediately, yeah,
or you're signing Nick Vigil again.
And he's a free agent.
Yeah,
and I know you don't want him back, but God,
they might have to
at this point.
But in the defense that they're running,
all you got to do right now, as of right now, run away from DJ Reader.
Yeah, hope the outside can be contained.
There's pieces on the defense.
Pratt was good last year, but he's very raw too. He was a third-round pick.
And you said you have a theory, or have heard that they're going to move Sean Williams to linebacker.
They have been kicking that around. On Twitter, it could just be. I don't know. He's a good tackler. He's good in run support, but full time.
God damn! If you thought he got hurt a lot at safety,
no shit, dude. He gets hurt fucking 5 times a game, but he's never hurt.
He's never hurt. He just needs a good breather. Me and you always say
every game
we're sitting there watching. It don't matter. We do the whole 3 TV setup, watching all the games, and me and Drew calculate and bet. We have bets like, all right, man, how many more plays till Sean Williams gets hurt again? But I'm with you, man. I like DJ Reader. I like McKenzie. I don't like Trey Waynes. I like the fact that the Bengals went out and spent John Miller. I don't even know how to say the guy's name. Do you?
Xavier Suafalo, I think.
So he was a right guard. And Goodberry also posted a side by side with him and John Miller, and John Miller's numbers was better.
His numbers were better.
So yeah. I didn't that's another head scratcher. I didn't understand.
I'm just gonna call him Xavier, but he's not coming in to be. I don't think he's coming in to be the starter.
Right now, that's his replacement.
But you got Alex Redmond there. You got the Billy Price experiment, which I hope to God ends soon. And then Xavier coming in. So there'll be competition there. I don't know if he's signed to be the clear-cut starter. Miller was up and down. Quickly got picked up, though, by the Panthers. I think it's a money thing. He was a 3-year, $16 million deal. This new guy, Xavier, is a 3-year, $10 million deal. They saved some cap money by cutting Miller. But
right. Yeah, like 2.6. I was looking it up. But I guess my biggest thing to you is, dude, we've harped about this for the last 2 years, and I'm not picking on the Bengals. It's just these are facts. We said the 3 biggest positions. Quarterback, they're going to fix that. Joe Burrow is going to Cincinnati.
The Dolphins rumor is coming back up.
Linebacker and offensive lineman, and they haven't touched the other 2 positions. I don't get it.
I just not getting Joe Schobert, and I was high on Littleton because he's a great coverage linebacker, but his run numbers are not very good. He's not very good against the run. So I mean. But the Schobert one just stings, man. He was a perfect fit, I feel like.
I just keep going back to the money you gave Trey Waynes. Why not just give that extra money to Schobert and beat out Jacksonville?
Absolutely.
And then because you want to talk about fixing the defense with DJ Reader and Joe Schobert, I think you fucking take a big chunk out of how bad that defensive was. You put those 2 guys in the line.
Yeah, and you got then you have Schobert and Pratt, and like I'm iffy on Pratt. Like I said, he was good at times, but very, very raw. He's a converted safety, so he's kind of in the coverage side of things. I hope he takes a big step, but just looking at the market now, unless there's some guys that are released, and our buddy Willie Flight, if you listen to this, don't ever tell me again that the Bengals need to sign Clay Matthews because that's
I'll take Clay Matthews on the Browns right now.
I was thinking he's not going to play anywhere else.
His dad's Hall of Famer for Cleveland.
Yeah,
it makes a lot.
I never thought of that till just now.
And we retired his jersey last year and
come back where his dad's numbers.
It makes a lot of sense that Clay Matthews ends up in Cleveland.
He's not coming to a rebuild in Cincinnati though, and he doesn't fit what the Bengals need at linebacker.
No. He wouldn't go to Cincinnati because he's looking,
it's
for instant
winning.
And that's not a knock because you just never know what Joe Burrow is going to be able to do. But that being said, I'd still think they need to hit up on some linemen, trade or Josh Klein is the right guard for the Vikings.
I'd like to see them kind of get in on that.
I want him to go to Cleveland. I just felt like that can solidify the line for the Browns or a good piece for Cincinnati as well. It's just I think the Bengals still. That hole's huge at linebacker, man. I just don't know if they realize it yet. I don't know how they're going to fix that, but they need to. Like I love DJ Reader in the middle, and just a little confused about Trey Waynes there.
I think my thought has to be that they're planning on taking Burrow at 1, obviously, and then looking into the line at 33. I just don't know if there's a linebacker prospect that's going to be worth the first pick in the second round. So I guess they're going to hope that a lineman falls. I mean, it's risky, man. Another guy that I wouldn't mind them signing is Mike Person that just got released by the 49ers today. He was a starter for them, and they're a great run.
Guard, yeah.
They're a great running game.
Just staying here on the Bengals, we have a lot of Bengals listeners here. The big thing that I want to know is, are they attempting to get guys that we think they should get, or is it guys are just like, no, I don't want to play there. We've talked about that, through years past when they just were never a part of free agency. Like, do guys want to go there, or they don't believe in giving guys they don't know a lot of money? Because we've talked about, the Andy Daltons and the Genos and the Dunlaps, like, you just continue to pay the same guys.
The thing that I think is hurting them to an extent this year is the fact that they can't meet with guys. I think there is an element of Zach Taylor that could help recruit a guy. And I don't think it's going to be the end-all, be-all, but I think it could be. But I think here the last couple years, the I don't want to go play there is definitely more real. But, you go back 3-4 years ago, they were still right there in the hunt. They could have found some pieces to get over the hump. They were making the playoffs, so I don't know if it was that terrible of a destination then, but definitely here in the last few years, why would a guy want to go play here if I can go make more money in Jacksonville? And Jacksonville's had a deep playoff run more recently than the Bengals. They're retooling things, but
you make a good point. And just another thing we need to touch on there is, You know, are they going to be able to find a home for Dalton? You know,
I don't think so.
You know, or is Dalton just going to? I mean,
they called Belichick now. Hey, you interested in Dalton? Yeah, but I'll get him when you guys cut him because nobody else is trading.
Or I'll give you a 7th.
Yeah,
you know? And whatever, if you can get anything out of him, you know, at this point,
you're better served to just wait for him to release him and then get him cheaper instead of taking on the $17.5 million.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, all the suitors are gone. The Chargers aren't doing it.
When does Dalton's money become?
I don't think that it becomes guaranteed at all.
Oh, okay.
I think when he got that big extension that everybody kind of freaked out over, and I guess with how the market's gone, it's been a pretty decent deal for him, for the Bengals at least. I don't think that there's any, because there was a lot of, you know, at 4 o'clock today, guys' money was coming. Right. That's why Gurley got released and Matthews got released. I don't think there's anything like that in there. So I think that move can be made whenever. But I was going into this, I thought they were in a great position with Dalton. I thought that the Bears would be calling. Too. I thought the Colts would be calling. I thought the Patriots would be calling. I said we can, you know, pin some guys against each other. But
me and you were talking like, man, can you imagine them getting a second? That's gold.
Oh God, that would have been great. But
now you got to be thinking, you know, maybe 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round.
I just don't see it because the Chargers have said they're going to roll with Tyrod this year. I think they're probably going to get a Tua or a Herbert.
Yeah.
So I just don't see anywhere now that needs a starter.
So what do you want? So obviously you want Burrow at 1. Everyone knows that. What do you want at 33? Do you want a linebacker? Do you want an offensive lineman? What do you want?
A lot of it. I mean, a lot of it depends on obviously how the draft plays out, who falls, who slides, whatever. But
also, obviously, they're probably not done in free agency. I wouldn't imagine.
Yeah, but like I said, hopefully some linebackers get cut or something,
or linemen, and then you can get a linebacker early in the second.
What I would honestly like them to do is move up, back into that first round,
get that 5th-year option. Yeah,
and I don't think that I don't know, man. Like, your Isaiah Simmons gone top 10 at least.
Oh, dude, he's not going to 10.
Top
7.
5.
Somebody's trading up and getting him.
So I don't know that there's that impact linebacker worth trading up for in the back end of the first. I think that the lineman class will be deep enough to do it. I still am holding out hope that I get an alert that they cut Bobby Hart and they save his money because he's just fucking terrible. But none of that's looking like it's going to go that way.
I think you cut Dre, you get money there.
That's got to be coming.
Andy. I mean, you got to think. These are ways that the Bengals can get more money and spend it on positions of need.
But just looking at the guys left on the linebacker side and the offensive line side as it stands right now, I just don't.
Yeah.
No.
So here's what I want the Browns to do in the draft. Obviously, we got the 10th pick. And we kind of me, you, and Austin touched on this a little earlier. Right now, the Browns can get out from Olivier Vernon $15 million, and they say Clowney's looking for 20. Why not bring in Clowney? And have him and Miles on opposite sides. But if you don't do that, then here's the route I would like to go. Let's trade for Trent Williams. A third. I can't
believe not a lot's happened with him so far.
Yeah, teams aren't willing to give up them first picks like the stupid Redskins organization think they can get, or go get Jason Peters, or go get Cordy Glenn.
I keep forgetting about Cordy too.
He made the difference in the Bengals at the end of the year, man. We talked about that.
I think he's just got there's a narrative that he quit on the Bengals and that he quit on the Bills before he got traded. So I don't know if there's a bad vibe about him. But when he came back into the fold last year,
he was excellent.
The Bengals
it's like he knew he had to play for money or something. So I would like the Browns to get one of those 3 left tackles, and if and only if you can land one of those 3 left tackles, I want the Browns to trade. I don't care if you got to give up next year's first. Get up to number 3. Have your choice between Chase Young and Isaiah Simmons.
Dude, if they get
because
Clowney
listen,
and then
the Bengals are going Burrow at 1. I'm not so sure the Redskins aren't taking a quarterback.
I'm not so sure they're not taking Tua at 2.
I'm not sure of that, or I'm not sure a team wants to trade up and get in front or get next after Burrow. And I know that 3rd pick from the Detroit Lions is up for grabs.
Yeah, that's the spot.
And they're almost, they want to move back. So if they move back from 3 to 10 and get an extra first-round pick, I think they're cool with that. And if somehow the Browns can land either Chase Young or Isaiah Simmons. That's what I want. You know, if and only if they can grab one of these left tackles to protect Baker.
Yeah, if not, I think you either stay pat because I think a lot of mocks have Andrew Thomas going down there.
You select a left tackle.
Another left tackle named Thomas. It could play out. The last one paid off for you guys.
That'd be tough to find one of those twins.
In terms of the Bengals, obviously drafted my boy Joe Burrow. An interesting name that I think that could come in, and I don't know if he could be a full-time linebacker, but a hybrid guy that can go play safety. I'm not out on Clinton Dix.
Yeah, that's right. Ha's still out there.
I think he's better than Sean Williams. I don't know.
Demarius Randall. Demarius Randall's out there, and Demarius Randall is a hell of a safety when he wants to play for the person.
Yeah, and I think he kind of tweeted like, well, maybe I'll go back to Cleveland.
Yeah. I don't know if there's talks there. I don't know what that is.
I don't know that Randall would fit because I think if the Bengals – I think Clinton Dix is a good hybrid safety because I think to mask the deficiency at linebacker, unless something changes now, you go get one of those hybrid safeties that you can pull up, maybe kind of play in the nickel a little bit.
Well, see, he doesn't make a lot of sense to me to the Bengals because you have Jesse Bates. The Bengals need that. If you're talking about getting rid of Sean Williams or moving up to linebacker, that guy they can put up there on the line, and help stop the run or blitz the quarterback when needed, and also sit in the back and be a hard hitting ass safety.
Yeah, I think Dix could do that. I think they'd have to kind of get creative with the look if they are keeping Williams back there at the safety spot. Obviously, Jesse Bates isn't going anywhere. I really like him. So
really like Jesse Bates.
Clinton Dix isn't one that I would hate. Person's there, Klein's there. If you want to shore up the offensive line a little bit more, I think we'd welcome any and all of that. Looking at the linebacker market, Nigel Bradham maybe becomes available.
Yeah.
But he's
older,
Yeah, there's nothing.
What does he want?
There's nothing jumping out there, so it remains to be seen. I'm encouraged. Overall, I am encouraged that they went out and had the.
Well, you also have Burrow in your back pocket. You got to be somewhat excited. So,
but they went out and made the effort. They show that they're actively trying to get better. And I wonder if this is a result of because if you remember when they hired Zach Taylor,
fans are pissed.
Well, but you remember when they hired Zach Taylor, they had to wait until after the Super Bowl 2 seasons ago now. And so that led to him not being able to get a staff in place quickly. And we ended up with a defensive coordinator that I wish we would have moved on from and upgraded this year, but he's there, so it is what it is. You almost wonder if this is this them having a little bit more say-so in what happens in the front office?
You hope so. You got to hope
because, this offseason is going to be different. I'm not saying that it matters all that much, but now you're not moving in and trying to get your family settled and trying to scramble to put your staff together. You've had a year to assess who's on the roster, what you like, what you don't like. So, you have to think that it's better than 2-14 regardless.
Yeah, they're going to be better than 2-14.
But, it just remains to be seen. Is Mike Brown coming around? Is Mike Brown giving control more to Duke Tobin, who's pretty much the GM, or is this Taylor and his staff having their handprints all over it? So overall, I'm encouraged. I don't understand the Trey Wayne signing for the money, but and obviously AJ being franchised, I hope that the two things that I want to happen now, either you flip AJ Green for a good pick if that's still an option, or a good player with the tag and trade, or if not. I don't think that's Joe Burrow. He said I want AJ there, so
AJ's going to be there. You hope he can stay healthy.
Just sign him. Just give him a 3-year deal, whatever, at a decent cap. Just get that over with. But if that's not it, extend Joe Mixon. We know who we're taking in the draft. Free agency's winding down. Once that's done, you got to put all of your time, energy, and focus into extending Joe Mixon and then seeing what you're going to do with AJ. Mixon can't go. He and Tyler Boyd were like the glue that held that team together last year.
And that's kind of where we're at with free agency, So,
and we got a couple comments from our Facebook page that I'd like to get into. I did post that up the other day. Now that the recording schedule is back a little bit on a regular, so I'm just going to read these as they're coming. Dalton Cox. Browns did good by adding Hooper. I think the duo between him and Njoku will be positive. I think we touched on that. I think we agree. He was shocked that Brady left New England. I actually wasn't.
No, I wasn't.
So, and he said he's kind of stoked to see the Buccaneers be relevant again. That's kind of, he's from down there, so I think he kind of roots for them on the side, but he is a Browns fan.
Yeah, no, I like it. I like the fact that Brady, he's probably going to have Gurley too, but we know for sure he's got Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, he's got O.J. Howard. They do need a running back. So I like it. I'm with you. I like the fact that he went down there. I think it's a good spot for him.
Yeah, I got some family down in Tampa. I'll always root for the Bucs if they're not playing the Bengals. My boy James Sayre, I honestly didn't see this. He is a big-time Steelers fan, so I trust his word. Said that the Steelers restructured Big Ben's contract.
They did.
I guess that missed it, and then
they always do that. That's how they get. That's how they get out of the cap, man. They're always adding that onto a signing bonus or something, so it doesn't go against the cap.
And they tagged Bud Dupree. Which is somebody I think that they had to keep. They did lose Javon Hargrave to the
loss.
Eagles. That is a big loss. I'm glad to see him leave.
That's the middle.
And probably the worst news possible, and anybody that knows me knows why I think this. They signed Derek Watt as their fullback, and there's another fucking Watt brother in Pittsburgh in my division. I can't fucking stand that.
I think that's
family.
their biggest thing they've done so far. The Steelers, they got him a fullback who was a key miss for them last year. I think when Nick's went down or he's just getting older. I'm not exactly sure, but that goes back, to the fullback talk that we've talked about. You got to think that the Steelers are going to bounce back in a way. Obviously, they ain't going to have goofy ass Mason Rudolph or a guy named Duck, and that's what I always say. They're going to actually have Big Ben back, and as much as we hate him, that's scary.
I want to put some retirement licks on him. But that is actually wrapping up Jim's comment there. He said Rosie Nix showed to be a good player, but was constantly out with injuries. There's definitely going to be a commitment.
Like I said, the Hargrave one is a big loss, though. So
yeah, I was glad to see that.
They chose Dupree over him, and I'm not saying that's the bad thing. I think they're both great players, but I'm happy to see him out of the division.
Yeah, absolutely. And T.J. Elliott says they added Hargraves, obviously.
Eagles fan, yeah.
Yeah, he's a big Eagles fan. And T.J., if you hear this, man, you're the greatest at gifts. Just when the Eagles win or lose, he doesn't post a status and talk about it. He just posts a GIF, and you just know how he's feeling. He's fucking really good at it. But they told Malcolm Jenkins he's too old to be the highest paid safety in the league. He said that sucks, but he agrees. They gave McLeod a new contract, extended Jalen Mills another year. He said, yay, our secondary still sucks. Sudfeld, the backup quarterback, comes in, released Nigel Bradham, so he is out there. Yeah. So maybe the Bengals can take note of that. And he said, now all our linebackers are rated 65 or lower in Madden, if that tells you anything.
Yeah, they need some help. Obviously, they lose Jenkins at safety. They don't have very many linebackers in another position. Obviously, I know they got Alshon, but they need to get some wide receiver help too. Yeah. You got to wonder where that's coming from.
So he followed that up with, we have 10 total draft picks with about $30 million left in cap space with tons of holes to fill, and we are terrible at drafting. So, yeah. So, best of luck to you, TJ.
Yeah, and, I think Carson Wentz is going to bounce back in a big way. Hopefully for you, he does, TJ. Like I said, got to get him some help. Running backs, receivers. Obviously, you got Ertz there. But obviously linebackers too. So I feel your pain there because I feel like we don't have any linebackers now outside of Mac.
Me too, man. I got Pratt. I gotta hope he pops up. So here comes DC Fortson, man. He was really involved in the Brady stuff. I think he thought that he was going to go there.
He thought Brady was going to L.A.
I thought it was a better chance than the fucking Bucs, but he says glad the Chargers added the O-line help, but now I'm curious what we are going to do now that Brady is going with the Bucs. Do we stick Tyrod Taylor in and draft a quarterback back at 6? Maybe trade for Newton? Or best case, Miami trades for Newton, Dolphins don't take Tua, and we get him.
Yeah. You're going to have to come up from 6.
I think that they're sticking with they've said they're sticking with Taylor this year. He left this comment yesterday, so when I put this post out, so some stuff has changed then. I don't think they're going to trade for Newton. They're not going to get an Andy Dalton. So
Newton would make a little sense there.
I think he would too.
Yeah,
but I think they're drafting. I don't think Herbert gets past him at 6.
I think it's Herbert or Tua. But they might have to come up to get him. So that's just where that is. If you want Tua, I don't think he makes it out of the top 3.
I don't think I'm not convinced Washington passes him up. I've heard about Haskins.
Yeah, unless Washington wants Young. I think the 3 spot is where a trade happens for maybe a Chase Young or or something else, but or Simmons. But yes, the 2 spot right there in Washington, the 3 spot there in Detroit, those both seem like maybe you can trade. Unless because they're not fond of Haskins in Washington. It doesn't sound like.
Dude,
so Tua might go there, and then maybe the Chargers trade up to 3 and they take Herbert, and it's 1, 2, 3 quarterback. I don't know, but something's going to happen at that 3rd pick. I feel like,
and you see that happening. A new coach now, Ron Rivera's there. He wants his quarterback, and there were reports that Haskins was so bad at reading an NFL playbook they thought he was dyslexic.
Yeah.
So. And these first round quarterbacks don't have huge cap hits anymore, so that could be it. So I think that they get a quarterback in the draft, whether it be like I said, Herbert or Tua. Maybe they trade back into the bottom of the first to grab a Jordan Love, who's a raw guy with some talent.
Jordan Love's going to go in the top 15. Watch.
Oh, you think top 15?
Top 15.
Damn.
He might be top 10. I'm serious.
Damn.
Because there's going to be a run on Burrow, Herbert, and Tua, and then he's going to be the next one. Actually, a lot of people have Jordan Love ranked above Herbert.
Yeah, it's close there. People see some Mahomes flashes in him, but I think some raw talent. So we'll see there. But you're getting a new quarterback this year. I just don't know if he'll play. I think they're going to run with Ty Law
if they take one early, he's playing DC. And
Chris Hostetler said the Bengals added 2 good defensive guys. Almost in complete shock they did this. I will go on record. Chris is probably the only person that's more negative about the Bengals than me. He absolutely hates to love them, I believe.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. We hit on Chris. I love DJ Reader, love it. Don't get me wrong. I think Trey Waynes is a little bit better than Kirkpatrick. I don't know if there's a huge difference there, especially with Kirkpatrick being better in coverage. But I am surprised at the money they spend. I am. I just think that they should have spent that money on Schobert.
And that was my reply to him. I said, we overpaid for Waynes. He said, but they're good players. This is a step in the right direction until they get hurt in the preseason. So
No, it is. It's a big step to actually even spend the money.
And then Mike Brewer, how the Eagles had DeAndre Hopkins in their hands and blew dick and didn't get him.
If they had DeAndre Hopkins in their hands, yes, they blew dick because it doesn't seem like it would have taken a whole lot to get him.
If I'm the Eagles right now, and I'm on the phone with the Texans, and they say,
give you Alshon in a first.
Yeah, they're saying, well, we got David Johnson and a second on the line with Arizona. The Eagles got to be like first rounder, and who do you want?
Yeah, we'll give you a first and name a player, not name Carson Wentz.
Because that is exactly what the Eagles need, man.
Fuck yeah.
That's exactly what they need. So
and if they could have kept Alshon and then also Alshon and got D-Hop, man, you're talking about with fucking Ertz.
Yeah,
you're talking about some shit there for Carson Wentz. No excuses now besides getting hurt, Carson, which you seem to do.
Yeah, man, I think that if they had a chance to pull that off and they didn't, they
definitely blew dick.
They blew dick. And there was a report that the Bengals were calling about Hopkins. Did you see that?
I seen that.
Just
Somebody screenshot and sent it to us. Yeah,
that would have been fucking cool. But
then you could have been like, all right, AJ, you can give us that $18 million back. We're trading you.
So I don't know.
Or fucking D-Hop and AJ. Holy shit.
I don't know how real that is, but if it was like we'll give you John Ross and all that, and then we'll put D-Hop on this side, AJ on this side, and Boyd in the slot.
Fuck, we'll give you John Ross. We'll give you John Ross. We'll give you fucking Dunlap, whoever, in a second.
Yeah,
in a second.
I don't know how legit that is, but I mean, that's another thing. If that's true, encouraging that they're making those calls and trying. Yeah. So, I think that does about wrap it up.
A lot of free agency talk. That's about all we hit.
And
next week, though, we got to hit on it, Drew. You know I'm excited as fuck.
What's going on?
The UFC is going with it. Habib versus Tony Ferguson. I cannot fucking wait.
I hope, man. They got a month to make that call.
It's Dana said it is happening no matter if it's in his backyard.
Oh, no shit.
He's talking about taking it to a different country.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
he's the fucking
and
guy
Dana
that
will
do that.
Dana will fucking do it. That fight is happening. We're all going to my house. We're making some grilled wings.
We're gonna fight in fucking Kuwait,
dude. We're fucking doing it up for that.
That might be, dude. They take it to another country. That might be one that starts at like fucking 4:00 or something.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a big one.
All right, so we'll get into that. We'll get some more research going on what happens in free agency between now and next week. I do want to let you guys know that if you have been following it, if you haven't seen, the draft is going to happen on time. No fans, and they're going to do some televising it. So the sports itch is growing. The NFL has helped scratch that as well as the UFC. I've gotten to the point where I almost turned my PS4 on and made the computer play each other in Madden or 2K or something and just watch that.
Start betting on the games and shit.
Yeah.
Last thing I want to say before we get out of here, man, everybody stay safe. We're fucking going through some crazy shit in the world. I know a lot of people don't believe it. I don't care what your belief is, but no matter what the situation is, keep yourself and your family safe.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you follow me on Facebook, my dad just had a big surgery to get some cancer out of his body. Things are going good. He's feeling good, but
rest up.
He's a type of person and elderly people that are at very high risk to get this. So
stay the fuck in your house for a while.
A lot of people will say, well, I'm young, I'll beat it, and I'm a person where I think if I got it, I'd beat it. But at the same time, do I take that and give it to my dad?
You almost shouldn't go over there. I mean, we'll talk about that
right.
later,
Yeah.
But.
So it's a thing to where, and not to make that, too personal, but there's somebody in your life that even if the virus just makes you feel bad for a couple of days and you beat it, there's somebody in your life that if you get it and you give it to them, it can hurt them. So, yeah, stay safe. Sean Payton coming out today with the coronavirus. Kevin Durant, Rudy Gobert.
But, they say like 97, 98% of the people are beating it.
Right,
right. Even higher percentage don't even have to go to the hospital for it.
Right.
It seems like it's just taking its toll on the older people, and then, sometimes the younger, which is scary as shit. But yeah, man, just keep your guys' self safe, and we don't want to get too far in that. This is sports. We want to talk about something other than that bullshit.
But stay inside so this shit stops spreading, so we get sports back.
Yep.
All right.
That's all I got.
I mean, it does come back to sports somehow. So appreciate you guys for tuning in. Let us know your thoughts on everything on our Facebook page. As always, we'll be back in here next week. Anybody wants to have anything discussed or call in, let us know, and we will be back in here next week. Locker Room Talk Uncut.